Welcome back, boys and girls. It's time to look at what would be considered the black eye of the Neo Geo. And it's one thing I guess SNK would want to type of game where they would like to brush under the rug or erase from their history of games. And that game is called The Legend of Success Joe. Now, The Legend of Success Joe is actually comes from an anime that comes from, what's the translation I'm trying to think? It means like tomorrow's Joe. I think it's Ashita no Joe or something of that nature. And it has kind of like a Rocky-esque type of theme, but this anime existed way before Rocky. It existed into like the late 60s, early 70s, and it was like anime, films and TV shows, etc. So basically the story revolves around Joe Yabuki, who's kind of like an orphan, struggling kid, you know, and he basically trying to have this from rags to riches type of tale, come up as a young kid, learn a box, get good at it, you know, become famous, rich, etc. You know, basically that's all it comes down to. It's just basically the underdog, it's an underdog story. That's the best way I can basically put it. Unfortunately, the game doesn't really add too much to this game. Alright, well, basically with this game, it's kind of like a beat-em-up slash boxing game. So the thing is that the combinations and stuff like that are kind of like boxing, but it's also beat 'em ups. You know, you fight on the street, you fight in locker rooms, you know, all sorts of different venues. But the thing is that if you look at the graphics, I mean, the characters are pretty large. But the problem though is the game is just bad in terms of the graphics. I can put aside because it's an early Neo Geo game. But the thing is the stiff controls and the gameplay are what really fucked this game up. This reminds me of like a Genesis game. Now the problem with this game is that it looks like it would have been like an early Genesis game. And because of the colors, because the Neo Geo always pride itself on its zillions of colors and shit like that. I don't know what fucking level I have this on. But this is the brawler that you have to do. You get into like street fights and shit. And basically once you get into like a street fight, you kind of go into like a boxing ring and shit like that. But look at the colors on this guy. He's all pink, and a lot of the colors of the people are the same damn thing. Like, why are they all pink? I don't get all that. It's like they all have sunburn. Like, I don't understand all that. Now you'll see here, it'll go to another part scene. And this all follows basically the manga. So I'm not that familiar with it, but if people are familiar with it, get used to it. So now you go into the boxing part of the game instead of the beat-em-up part of the game. The problem with the game is it's just the gameplay is just terrible. It's just, I have nothing towards, you know, Wave Corp trying to develop this game. And that's who it was actually developed by. It wasn't SNK. A lot of people think it is, but it's Wave Corp. And it was rated at like 50 megs. Now that's a pretty hefty amount of megage there. And it's almost near impossible to get through this game. It's that hard. And even SNK knew. Get the fuck up. Even SNK knew this game was a disaster. I'm actually shocked that they actually let it go for quality, because you'd imagine they would have said, hey, this game looks like shit and it doesn't match our I guess, seal of approval or seal of quality, kind of sort of like what Nintendo had. And what they did is that they made sure the game never came to the States. So they kind of buried the game that it would never reach the United States. I know it came out in Japan. Arcade, I'm pretty sure it came out in Europe, because the MVS card I'm playing here is a European version. But is it something to check out? A lot of times I usually say, this game sucks, or, you know, I'm usually not that negative. But, like, if you want to laugh at a game, this would be the game to laugh at. It's a shame, because this is probably one of the worst games in Neo Geo's library, and, I can't think of any game that's worse than this one in Neo Geo, because the majority of them, even the shit games, are usually pretty damn good. Alright, so I'm not going to torture you anymore with this game and all, but most people have seen what it looked like and know that it's actually a pretty bad game, and might be saying, well, why did you purchase it? Well, I thought it would be an interesting game to have, because even though it's a bad game, it only came out at a certain point. Now, I wouldn't pay for the AES game, I'm sorry, I'm not that devoted, but the thing is that it's definitely one of those games you should try and laugh, and you'll play for like 2 minutes, and you'll be like, well, this game sucks, and then turn it off. But it'll show you that Neo Geo can make a very bad game. But it's not Neo Geo in itself, it's the actual developers who made a bad game out of this. Okay, so that basically ends it, because I don't need to torture people anymore. I already have enough stuff going on in the world. Wars, poverty, homelessness, this game. So, take care, and if you want to check it out just for shits and giggles, go right ahead. See ya.